It's an extremely exciting, excellent extravaganza of esports, ending the evolution of Europe with XL versus Excellence.
I can't
All
have
the ease.
such an extravagant day, wouldn't you say?
It's going to be amazing. We've got Europe beginning things off. Excellence, sorry, versus XL. These are the two teams that we're going to be seeing today. Obviously, all the E's at the beginning of this. Both these teams unable to make it to the LAN. They did not qualify in the top two, but they are playing for bragging rights at who wins at the end of the season.
Who's not worser than the other, even though one record clearly dictates otherwise.
Who excels more than the other?
Who excels better at excellence-ing over?
Yeah, I got nothing else.
The latter?
Totally. I used everything I could already. But these two teams faced off a multitude of times already, both of them with a couple of roster changes today, I believe, mixing things up a little bit more with shenanigans. Obviously, when you've seen the season so far, these two teams didn't quite make the cut to come to the LAN at the end of the year.
No, not quite. Unfortunately, Excellence, they were doing a good job against Team Rival. They were getting some splits here and there. Unfortunately, they couldn't replicate the same results against Barrage, so they were a little bit behind the pack. And
so with that, you can see that basically when we've seen the standings before, it was all in their favor. But here's the standings on your screen. You can see exactly how this all broke down for you. And it's clearly Excellence were the ones that came out on top. XL still haven't found a win. Maybe today is the day.
Maybe.
The final day of Europe, Toli. This is the day they need to shine.
I want to see both these teams just go all out, just go crazy shenanigans, pick some crazy picks, you know, switch things up with their roles as well, you know, put people wherever.
Cheesy invades, all the rest of it. That's the plan for today. Hopefully XL can find a win. That's the big one here. Let's find out. Picks and bans. Get into them. Who do you expect to be first pick?
I expect Team Excellence to be the first pick.
You cheated.
Not at all.
You cheated.
I have the...
Disgusting.
The inner sights.
I'm disgusted with you right now, Toli. I'm ashamed to call you my co-caster.
I have the target in my sights.
Terrible. Stop it now. All right, pick some bands then. Here we go. And it's probably going to be Raijin. I'm expecting Ao Kwang, Susano's, maybe a little bit of Zeus, maybe a little bit of Athena band.
Pretty standard bands, but what I'm more interested in is in the picks, right? Because both these two teams specifically, unfortunately for them, they're out of the LAN, like you mentioned. There's nothing realistically for them to play for because they're locked in both of their positions at 4th and 3rd. Now, XL needs to find a win, but at this point, I would just like to see them go crazy, like throw the cold kitchen sink at it.
And the other thing they've got to think about is relegations as well. Obviously, over in Europe, there's a chance they could get relegated at the end of the season against the relegation teams that could come up through the Challenger Cup of the Console League, which there's more details on coming forward. But for now, they need to get practice in against each other. Very important.
That's true. There's going to be a little bit of time for these two teams to practice against one another or other teams through the Challenger Cup to get ready for the relegations. But Excellence going to take Susano. That is left open with a lot of these other bands coming from Ao Kwang, Guanyu, Raijin, and Ratatasker.
No real surprises in the bands there. Bacchus locked in again. The rise of Bacchus, totally. Where's this come from? I mean, he's always been there. He's not been changed in a very long time. I mean, the last change that we really made to him was the chug where he got a little bit more beneficial, but that was a while ago. Everyone started playing Bacchus now.
It's Trickstang.
It's just Tricks?
It's just Trickstang.
They blame Tricks?
Yeah.
So his foresight has just like led
He rejuvenated the Bacchus.
That's true. I mean, always been available. Belly flop, very, very good initiation knockups. The best CC in the game, and then Intoxicate, probably the longest standing technically soft CC in the game as well.
We need a new emote for Bacchus.
Such as?
The chicken dance.
Why the chicken dance?
You haven't seen Trickstang's chicken dance?
Oh, that one. I wonder what you were talking about. Maybe we could get that. Well, locked in as well, and Vulcan for the mid lane of Excellence here. Vulcan very, very started to come back again once more. He's had a bit of a change in terms of his passive. His ultimate as well being a little bit more effective in terms of closing the gap quicker to be able to confirm the damage.
If you're confident that you would land your Vulcan abilities, you're going to get that extra movement speed, about 10 to 15% or so. You get the extra MP5 to allow you to keep spamming those abilities. Now, Excellence going for a double assassin composition with a Susano Nemesis. I'm liking this strategy already out of them. Very aggressive right off the bat.
Very aggressive and very in and out with those two assassins. The problem is there's no front hardline tank just yet coming out from them. So maybe look to see XL ban away some frontline tanks here to try and reduce the options.
You could technically build Susano tanky, and he would be a great initiator with a jet streaming in, finding the pull, getting his damage off, and then resetting on top of that. Same thing with Nemesis. She could build tanky as well, as long as you have the cooldowns necessary to consistently use your ult ultimate every single time it's off cooldown and forcing team fights, then you can force some early relics and then take advantage off of the next team fight.
Well, because of that, you can see Athena, Bandau, and Odin as well. Both of those frontline tanks to an extent, and Odin very good against Isis. Makes a lot of sense to take that off the table.
Yeah, all these gods cannot get away from that Odin cage. Susano cannot jet stream through the Odin cage. Obviously, Vulcan cannot go through it as well. There is no combat blink, but they could potentially go for the relic composition and get that Ghost Walk passive online.
Oh, the Ghost Walk is one of those things that we've not really talked about too much because not many people pick it up.
No, but against an Odin, if it was revealed, then you would definitely have to choose that composition. But it's interesting that Excel were the ones that banned Odin instead of Excellence.
With that Ho-Yi locked in as well, I'm interested to see whether it's going to be Susano or Nemesis in the solo lane or even in the support role here. One of them's going to go jungle for sure, and with that Guardian locked in, I guess it's going to be, I'm going to say Susano solo maybe here.
It's safer to say that it would be the Susano because you have a lot of mobility and you have the CC ultimate, right? You can get an easy knock-up. You can also get an easy kill, bait yourself around the tower line, finding a pull into your own tower, or maybe get the enemy out of their own tower. So for solo lane, against the tier specifically, you would also need to keep up with the sustain of tier, which is going to be difficult from either Susano or Nemesis.
Well, Excellence's composition here, very, very aggressive. Lots of mobility in terms of Susano and Nemesis to get in and out of these fights. Excel across the way, more balanced squad coming out here, Tolly. A lot more all-rounded as you'd expect to see.
The Bacchus initiation with Fenrir should allow the Isis to follow very easily, landing those spirit balls. You're going to have a lot of objective control with this Isis Soul combination as well. Maybe Bacchus would pick up the Wrath.
And here we go, into game, and it's underway. Excellence versus Excellent already. Excellence doing their buff camps at the beginning of this game, just starting off with back harpies as well on the left-hand side. And as you can see here today, Tolly, we have a new cameraman for this set today. Did you know that? Yeah.
I heard it's the pizza roll.
It's the pizza roll man himself, Peckies. So if he does miss any camera work in this game whatsoever, any kills, anything you wanted to see, spam pizza roll in chat, and we'll make sure that he counts them all afterwards to know exactly how many mistakes he made.
Yeah, look at him going all over the place, going from left to right to mid.
Left to right to mid, yeah. That's right.
Pre 1 minute mark.
Already, he's already covered all the lanes and all the options that's going on. Well, let's talk about builds right now. Already, no power potions from anybody here. Everyone getting used to the fact that they're no longer available. And instead, you can see they've clearly gone for just boot starts to go with Star Riders, man.
Nice pluck onto the Soul. Drizzi taking a lot of poke. Should be fine for the most part. Going to be forced to use a little bit of health potions for the remainder of this laning phase, however.
That was a really good workout already, and a little bit surprising from Drizzle to get as aggressive as he did there. Good ricochet coming out from Predators there, though, on the Ho-Yi as Bacchus flops in. Just a little off the mark was Rawski.
That could have been a potential pluck opportunity. The Bacchus belly flop was down. You could tail flip him further into the tower to allow another additional tower shot onto the Bacchus. Could find some more poke, but likely to play it safe, not wanting to stay out of position because the Soul would counter engage that with more poke on her own.
I'm actually looking at the compositions here, and the relics is the big point here from Excellence. Every single one of them has started with purification, including Sobek, which is quite surprising to see a Sobek go purification against this composition here. Really good about Fenrir, it seems.
It seems that way. You don't want to get pulled by the Fenrir under the tower. You get tier fearless, you get chain CC'd by the Bacchus and the Isis. You would have nowhere to go. So very smart pickup, I would say, by Excellence, avoiding that jungler.
But at the same time, looking at the waters, Sobek's pretty good at dealing with that just because he can just dunk down the moment in time, but maybe he's just a little worried about the time it takes to cast.
If he gets Unchained stunned by the 5 runes from Fenrir, that would guarantee the guaranteed bite from the Ragnarok. Gotcha. And then from there, it's about 4 to 5 seconds of getting moved closer and closer to the enemy's tower.
But it's actually Farleez in the solo lane today for Excellence as well. And you can see he's gone with the Nemesis into the solo lane, so Susano in the jungle to combine nicely there. And Nemesis laning phase against Tyr, not the easiest thing to deal with. The shield won't block the fearless damage because Juggles remove the shield.
No, not at all. And Farleez was before the Hunter
that's
of
correct.
Excellence, and now it's Predators that switch into the Hunter position. We've seen this before. I believe it was Torpedo that switched Moix and Game Hunter before in the past, and those two positions, ooh, nice double bounce off the wall by Predators.
It was a very good ricochet, and still Bacchus in trouble here. Belly flop still on cooldown for a few seconds time, and that's why they went aggressive. Trying to find the enhance though, Predators at the moment, and he's been very patient about it, but with the ultimate now up, that'll secure the kill. Nice easy ricochet for First Blood. Shouts to the pizza roll man himself for securing and making sure we see both First Blood and second blood in the mid
catching
lane.
all the kills, and Lycan doing a lot of poke onto Hatters as well. Now going back to the solo and hunter positions, those are the two roles that you can easily swap between. You still have the 1v1 aspect as soon as the supports leave anyway, so it's all about the mechanics and the skill. And now you go from a tanky character in the solo lane to a glass cannon, so it's going to show which person is more skilled at landing those in-hands.
And the longer this has gone on as well in this season, Excellence and Excel face off multitude of times, so you can see Excellence coming out on top in these engagements every single time. Excel still not found a win this season, and he's gone off to the same sort of start we expected here, Toli.
It just seems they're a little bit too rigid. They're not loose enough. They need to find a way and find a strategy that they're very comfortable with, because it seems that they haven't been able to really dictate any pace of the game this split so far. And the one time there was a few moments in some games that they did have advantages, but they never really capitalized off of them objectively by going for enemy buff invades or gold furies.
And you mentioned enemy buff invades. We saw on the left-hand side there, Predators did go in with the Sobek to invade the red buff on the left-hand side of Excel. So already Excellence starting to strip away the map from the enemy and get these small leads that are very important.
Yes, also, we do have a Wrath on the side of the Fenrir for Airbrushd. Airbrushd is taken over for Fudge, I believe, and with that Wrath early on, maybe Excel could look for some early objective control despite that red buff that was stolen.
I agree, they could look for that one, but if they don't use his Wrath as utility as they could do, it could cause some issues. But speed buff invade coming out here as well, and Lycan going to juke out the Unchained. Still being chased down here at the moment. It's going to force the Ragnarok, no purification used, and instead Spirit Ball connects, Circle of Protection going to be enough. However, immediately answered back by Farleez rotating in, combining nicely with Vulcan.
I would say that's still a win in the side of Excel. You're trading a level 6 Fenrir for a level 7 Susano. So in this position, it was definitely favoring Excel.
Yeah, Excellence here. A lot of different roster changes in terms of positions, because I do see HerpTheDerp in the mid lane here. He's played support a couple of times, and actually the Haunter position, I feel, as this season has gone on. So far, so good. It's a small experience lead for Excellence at 5 minutes in, but it's a good lead at that.
With the mid-Harpies responding, it's going to be very important for them to try to control those if they want to extend this lead moving forward. Now, Nemesis into the solo lane is going to be very difficult in the early laning phase against a tier specifically. She doesn't really have the clear, but she will have the kill potential later on once she does have that Jotun's Wrath finished online for those cooldowns and penetration.
And when you think about it, Slow is very effective against Tyr. It's not one of those abilities that his passive can really counteract. Only hard CC affects Tyr in terms of reducing it to just 1 second. Well, Slow's, they're not classed as a hard CC, totally.
Exactly, so the tier has to be very careful around this, and he might even want to pick up Winged Blade to try to counteract the Nemesis potentially. Also, granting him a little bit of health against Nemesis is not a bad idea, because the Nemesis ulti strips away more protections than it does health anyway. That's
one of the things you deal with Nemesis. You build health generally to try and survive it instead of the protection. It's just because of that.
Yes, and the Winged Blade obviously giving you that passive where if you ever get slowed, you